Hello and welcome back to Tom's Dotson Garage. It's been a few months since I've uploaded a video. I'm going to give you an update on what the latest is with the UPS hardware saga, as well as where I am today and what's planned for ahead. So let's go start with the hardware. Where we last left off, UPS was trying to help me find this hardware, or they were trying to locate it, and they never really made me feel like they were looking for it. And I have a friend who travels around the country, and he had offered to go to the different locations that the box went through to check with their lost and found or their overgoods area for that bag of missing hardware. I gave him the list of the places the box stopped off at, and over a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, he had stopped in at the different locations except for one, and none of those places had the bag. He felt that one of the places didn't even bother looking. He said they kind of went back behind the curtain, so to speak, and came around like 30 seconds later and was like, yeah, it's not here. So I don't know if they even had it ever, or if they did, they may have thrown it away. I don't know. I guess we'll never know, really. So there was one place left that he didn't check into, and it was the place I thought it was most likely at, and it was the very first stop that it made on its way up to North Carolina. It was the Jacksonville depot. It's like a major shipping hub up there that they have, and it went there first. So I kind of felt like maybe it got beat up the most there, and that's where the bag was. He never did check that location, and as it turns out, my wife was going to be going up there to hang out with her cousin for a concert, and she was going to be in the area, so I asked her if she would stop in there and ask for, to see the overgoods area to see if my bag of hardware was still in there. She said, yeah, she'll do that. And about a few days later, my dad wound up passing away. So things kind of stopped, like the world felt like it kind of stopped, and nothing really seemed to matter, for lack of a better description. Like I just don't know how to describe it. I just really didn't care about anything. It was a very difficult thing to deal with. Between, having your dream snatched away from you and then having your father pass away, it was like a 1-2 punch. I was in a bad place. I really desperately needed a win. More than anything, I needed a win. Just one win. So the weekend after my dad had passed, Christina went up to the concert, and she stopped in at the Jacksonville location, and she went in there and asked them to see the overgoods area or check the overgoods for the bag of missing hardware, and it wasn't there. They had never seen it. So she reported that back to me, and at that point, I just knew that I was probably never going to see that stuff again. I was never going to get it back, and now I got to look for a way to get compensation for it somehow. I did put a value on it when I had mailed it off, and I thought I was insuring it by the way the questions I was asked, but it turns out it was not. It just had a value put on it. So I was trying to get reimbursed for the missing hardware to help soften the blow. And my plan is to take that little bit of money and put it towards new hardware, either new hardware or maybe even just go out and find a parts car and just strip it for its hardware, which is a lot, but given the things that went missing, it's going to be tough to do them pieces and parts separately. So I started looking for a parts car while trying to get compensated for the bag of hardware they lost. And it took a few more months, a couple months of emails and back and forths and phone calls. And they even lied to me at one point on the phone and said that my claim was approved and they had to send the paperwork, email the paperwork files over to the store that sent it. And I confirmed with him the correct email address to the store, and the store never got the email of said forms. Weeks have passed. I'd gone back and checked several times, once a week. The email still never showed up. I called them again, confirmed the email address while I was standing in the store on speakerphone with them, and it just never went anywhere. So finally, between losing the hardware, my dad passing away, and some other stresses, I was shot. I had started working on another video. It wasn't on my 240Z. It was on another Datsun that I have, and actually still have to this day. Just simply because I don't have anything to share new on the 240Z. And work stopped on that video when my dad passed. I had gotten the basic layout made, and then that was it. I just lost all drive and interest for a good while. I finally get an email on December 1st from UPS after hounding them for about 3 days on why I haven't heard anything. And the email basically says, you weren't able to prove that we damaged the box and that it's our fault and we're not gonna pay you. So they basically are allowed to just lose your stuff and tell you sorry about your luck, which is pretty terrible. That's pretty awful. It was the feeling that I get is unreal. To have your dream snatched from you and just basically being told deal with it is pretty horrible. It hasn't been all bad. I did have a really rough October, but November, a very long planned trip finally came to fruition. We had planned a trip to Japan back in 2019, and we were supposed to go in 2020. So then COVID hit, and all of that went away. And it got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So finally, we were going, and we went, and I had an amazing time. I got to drive around in a classic Skyline for a day. So that was like a bucket list item checked off my list, which was really nice. That trip really helped reset me because I was in a very bad place. So I came back from the trip, and the holidays were right on top of that. I mean, we got back and then Thanksgiving was right then. And my wife was having the kitchen redone. So the garage here was a complete mess. There was new cabinets stacked in here, and then that gave way to the old cabinets and countertops stacked in here until I got that out of here. So this garage was very not usable, or you couldn't really work in it. And it's not like I was going to be anyway, because I didn't have any hardware to put my car back together. And I still don't. I did talk to a few people. I'm working on getting new hardware or acquiring more hardware, or even possibly a parts car at this point. Unfortunately, they're just ridiculously expensive, even for a relatively rough car that may or may not have everything I need, is still pretty expensive. So this is going to be a setback that's going to put me back for I don't even know how long. It's now, let's see, today's what, January, as I'm shooting this video, it's January 9th, 2024. So I haven't driven my 240Z in about 11 years now. It's been 11 years since I've driven that car. So I miss it dearly. I would like to have some parts to put that thing back together. I wish things went differently. So now you know where we are and where I stand. So what does that mean going ahead in the future? Well, I decided I'm going to finish the video about, I guess you could say, the Datsun that started it all for me, which is right here under the cover, and it's still with me today. And I'll probably break that video up into a couple of different parts, because I've had this car the longest. I've had it since July of '96. So it's been with me for a while. It's got quite a history. It's been in the family since new. So it's a fairly long video, I think. So I'll probably break that one up. And I also have had other Datsuns as well. I've had a 73 240Z, another 71 240Z that I've never mentioned before. I've had a 200SX, a 1983 200SX. So I've had other Datsuns, and I plan to make a video on all the other Datsuns that I've had also, while in the background work on trying to get the hardware and pieces I need for this car so that I can continue on with Project Z. Project Z is what I used to call it when I had Facebook. I'd name all my projects like Project Z, Project New Frontier, a play on words with my Nissan Frontier. And then I had Project Resurrection, which you will see on my car that's underneath this cover. So that's where we are. And when I was in Japan, I saw that I had just passed 300 subscribers. So that is pretty incredible to me. Right now, I think at last look was yesterday, I'm at 315 subscribers. That's pretty awesome, I think. I appreciate all of you who are subscribing to my channel. And I just hope that you're patient with me, because as badly as I would love to be bringing you more 240Z content, it might be a little bit before I can do that. Unfortunately, that's all I got for you right now. I am going to start work on my next video pretty soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.